So I've had to watch a bunch of rich people come in. And again, though, it's like I used to be a junkie. I was homeless living in a cardboard box for years.
I just think that as the block gets nicer, there's less places that will tolerate having those kind of people hanging out front.
Well, the crackheads and the hookers on the block, the like $5 blowjob girls, you know what I mean? And boys, you know what I mean? It's like, they're my friends. They're like, hey, Jimmy. You know, on Christmas and New Year's, those hookers and those crackheads came to give me a hug and say Merry fucking Christmas.
And if it means that there's not so many druggies and, you know, alcoholics and bums and stuff like that, then I'm all for it.
I think anything that pushes the junkies out of here has got to be a good thing.
If I don't say hello to those junkies and $5 blowjob girls and give them a hug, how are they going to know? Maybe they'll pick themselves up and dust themselves off.
Because it's a pain in the ass walking down the street at night sometimes. You get stopped every 5 minutes by some asshole.
Okay, there's a hotel next door that'll remain nameless. It's been there forever. I used to shoot heroin in there. If people didn't believe in me and tried to force me to go, I wouldn't be here meeting kids like that or putting pants on Steven Tyler or Iggy Pop.
Oh yeah, like even last year I didn't feel safe walking home from work.
Oh really?
Like it's not.
And I think what's it called?
There's not a huge change now, but I've noticed a lot less people hanging out on the streets, and I think that's a good thing.
3 days.
When I started working here like 4 years ago, it was like I saw crazy people outside, like you know, with tattoos all around, with the piercings on their faces, and then, you know, all over the body. So I don't see them at all.
Of course, what is lost is community and all the relationships that are bound in the community, and that can be one of the big tragedies of urban transformation.
You know, if you were a young girl, you couldn't walk down there like 5 years ago because it was like a drug haven. And the city's getting cleaned up, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, there's downsides to it, which means that like rents are going to go up.
And I think it's totally fucked up that nobody can afford to live in here. Because art, society, and history came from the poor. It came from us. Everything starts on the streets. You know what I mean? I see it through the big high-end designers. They came here and they watch, or they come in this store and they watch.
I think you got to move with the times. That's all. I think, you know, it's natural, it's evolution, you can't stop it. You know, things change, places change, people change. You know, you just got to move with the times, or you'll get left behind.
And that's where culture grows. You know, from art, from little barbecues with the Spanish people on Avenue D. You know what I mean? Who were paying like $50 a month, no, $150 a month, and had 6 people in a big apartment. Now it's $2,000 for a tiny, tiny little room that's beige. Comes beige, and you know, it's in the lease, it must remain beige. What the fuck's up with that?
That's evolution. You can't stop that. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, the East Village is still grungy, but it's a lot better than it was 5 years ago. But it still has tons of character, but it's just a little bit cleaner, so you can take kids there and stuff.
Yeah. It's good for business. People, it's getting more busy and, you know, more crowded.
Keep the area alive.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't think that it needs to happen. I think depending on the area and the prospects that it has, it can be helpful.
So when you're talking about change, for me, there's change, but there's not change. I'm standing here at 46 years old in my little tight Iggy Pop jeans, fucking holes in my $120 shoes, and fucking an Iggy Pop bondage shirt. Has St. Mark's changed? No. Am I going to let that new ugly building take over my life and totally change New York? No.
It's inevitable. I mean, this town's just becoming, it's going to be like San Francisco, you know? And I don't know where all the characters are going to go. It's going to go.
Is Iggy Pop gonna? No. Is Steven Tyler gonna? No. Is Liv Tyler gonna? Who was in here with Todd Rundgren, her father? And this is life. This isn't fucking name dropping. You think it's name dropping? Fuck you. It's history. It's life. It's New York City.
But there isn't a sense of tragedy when you, once again, you sanitize your spaces and you force what is an interesting relic of the drug history of that neighborhood out.
These people come here, like, some people move out, some people, most of the people like come here for a long time, like since they were young, they were going to high school, these neighborhoods.
I really think it's a neighborhood around here. It's like a neighborhood vibe. I think the people who've lived in St. Mark's Place because it's not, you know, it's not for everyone to live here. I mean, it's pretty grungy. And I think the people who've lived here, I mean, this building is a really famous building. Like tons of like old rock and roll stars have lived here, and like I know for a fact that like half the people in this building have been here like over 10 years. So
the place we're moving into, the floor slants like this,
like the whole,
and then the ceiling slants like this.
You know.
And the walls are caked with, you know, all sorts of shit, holding the plaster together. And then there's latex paint on top of that, holding that together.
Is there just one culture? I mean, I think that there are cultures for a street, especially a street that's leading multiple lives, like St. Mark's Place.
So you're gonna see the people that walk out the door. You know they couldn't.
It's all the same people.
Yeah, they couldn't afford the rent that you see the kids coming in here. You know.
But you can never take the fucking block away, because there's always going to be me. Or now there's my boss's 15-year-old son who lives a rock and roll hard to the fucking max and ran around with his little mohawk from 13 on, and these pants were created for him. And now he's wearing skin-tight pants. Well, no, not quite. I'm trying to get him in tighter pants. But he's a little boy going to the Strokes, being all rock and roll. So you can change the street, but you can't change the street because you can't take the heart away. You know what I mean? And that's what I believe it's all about.
No, it's not. You know, there's a few new buildings, but, you know, all these stores are all independently owned, and I think it's going to stay. I don't think it's going to change that much. I really don't.
I am like the true American dream twice. You know, now I get to talk to you and dress rock stars. And regular everyday people. Little kids that want to come in like, come here, Jonathan. Come here, Jason. Come here. This is who I get to meet. And this is what it's about. This is what it's about. Alright? So it's not going to change. You can't take it away. Maybe they can't live on the block yet, but they can come in from Queens. Alright? And that's what it's about. So you can try to take it away, but you can never take it away. And if you can't live on the block or afford to live on the block or you're forced out, you can come in from everywhere else and be real deal. And that's the shit.